Hi there, welcome to another iStaging talk. My name is Stefan, and in today's webinar, we will be exploring the future with the Apple Vision Pro, specifically for the luxury and the retail industry. Before we get started, let's cover a couple of housekeeping items. So let's begin by checking the audio and the video. So make sure that you can hear me okay and that you can see me okay. Please let me know in the chat on the right hand side of your screen. Feel free to also post any questions in the chat if you have any that I can answer or try to answer at the end of today's webinar during the Q&A. And also, please feel free to put any comments there or any thoughts about today's topic, because as the title says, it is definitely sort of an exploration today. So that should be exciting. So why are we talking about the Apple Vision Pro, about this specific headset today? Well, the reason is because it aligns very, very, very well with what we at iStaging are all about, with what is at the heart of iStaging, at the core of us, which can basically be summarized in two very simple words: empowering visualization. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Apple about a month ago launched this, what I would say is a revolutionary AR, VR, well, mixed reality headset. So we'll be exploring what can be done with that, with this new technology, because we truly believe this is the beginning of something really, really cool over the next few years. So in the next 20 minutes or so, I want to talk about a couple of things. So number one, talk about sort of what this headset is all about, what it can do, some of the key functionalities and the features that have been announced by Apple. And that is important because that will help us in sort of the discussion later on about what the future may hold. Then I want to go into the luxury industry, and specifically I want to talk a little bit about three digital paradoxes that the luxury industry has been and the retail industry has sort of been facing over the years and continues to face until now. Then really briefly why luxury brands are actually using our platform at the moment, how we help them, and then tie that into how the technology of the Apple Vision Pro may impact the luxury retail industry, with combined with sort of iStaging's and our vision for the future, not only for 2024, but even the years beyond that. And then in the end, like I said, a bit of a Q&A, or even a bit of a discussion if you guys have any thoughts or ideas of what the future may hold. So that's what's on the agenda today. Let's dive right into it. So over the years, we have seen a variety of different AR and VR headsets. So you may remember Google Glass or the Microsoft HoloLens, and those were more AR focused devices. And then we also had full VR devices such as the Oculus Rift, or the Meta Quest. And there have been many cheaper or more affordable alternatives as well, often with less functionality in a way. But all of them kind of gave us a glimpse into what the future may look like. And now Apple has launched this new revolutionary AR VR mixed reality headset, and they announced that as sort of a new era of spatial computing, right? And they don't ever actually mention AR or VR or mixed reality in their launch or their presentation, even though that's factually what it is. And that basically means that it seamlessly blends digital content with your physical world. And you can go into a completely virtual environment as well, very, very easily. So you can kind of move between AR and VR quite seamlessly. And even though that's a possibility, they seem to want to focus this headset, or put the focus and people's minds on the fact that it is more augmented reality. So still being in the physical world, and then blending the digital assets and content around you in that physical world very, very easily. Now, when I talked about virtual reality, so a full virtual environment, they would call that environments. But as I said, the focus is more on AR and being able to place any of the digital items that you might see while wearing the headset around you, and make them big and small, and move them in a location where you might want to have them very, very easily, like you see in the image here with that screen, and you can make that screen as big or as small as you want. So very, very, very cool. Now, what seems to be highlighted by some of the people that have actually had the privilege of using this headset already or trying it out, unfortunately, I haven't yet tried it out, but that hopefully happens very, very soon. But the people that have mentioned that the navigation of it is really, really, really impressive. So you navigate using your eyes, your hands, and your voice. Um, so the eye tracking, wherever you basically look while wearing the headset, it basically highlights apps, they pop up. It knows exactly where you're basically looking. And then using your hands by simply tapping your fingers together, for example, you can select. Now, one of the beauties there, and the image kind of highlights that, is that you don't have to do that right in front of you. I can remember that, for those of you who have tried the Microsoft HoloLens in the past, you would have to do that right in front of you, right in front of your eyes, and it was kind of tricky to to get it to recognize it, and the gesture. And with what seems to be happening with the Apple Vision Pro is that you can have your hands right sort of next to you, really comfortably, and like really gently make that tap, and it will recognize that. And then you can use your voice for dictation if you want to type anything. So it is really intuitive, and it seems to be really, really user friendly, which obviously is in line with what Apple often is trying to do with all of their devices. So that seems to be also the people that have used it. That seems to be a really, really impressive thing. And that is obviously key if you want to work within this headset or use it in any way for longer than just a few minutes. Um, Now, one of the other things is the fact that they have something called eyesight. So basically, what that means is that the headset reveals your eyes. So when you are in AR mode, when I'm in my physical space, I can see my natural surroundings, and I have digital content displayed around me. People that are in the space with me can see my eyes, and I can still interact with them, which is obviously important, instead of just seeing kind of like a black screen, which is kind of what was the case with other VR headsets, right? You're kind of completely gone from the physical world, and that's not the case with this headset. Now, when it comes to the applications that are in this device at the moment, they are all kind of very familiar. They are the applications that when you use any Apple device, your iPhone or MacBook Air or something like that, or tablets. They're all similar, but the difference is that you can now interact with them in a much more immersive way around you. And besides that, one of the reasons why they announced this headset so early, because it won't be available until 2024, until early next year, is they want us, the people, developers, to kind of determine the direction that they're taking this headset in. What kind of applications would be most valuable? How should this headset be used? And obviously, development of that takes time. So that's why they announced it right now. And it was kind of, people have an idea of what the capabilities of it are. And that's also what I want to talk to you about today in a few minutes, when it relates to luxury and retail and virtual shopping, I would say. Now, it is very much targeted towards professional use at the moment. And that is very understandable given its price tag of $3,499, which means that you and me and most people around us are not going to have this headset in our house, in our home, in 2024. But for professional use, there could be some really interesting use cases. Businesses may be able to use and play around with this and build some really cool applications that we'll explore. But eventually, in a few years, the technology will get even better, the headset will get even smaller, and the price will go down to significantly as well. And that might be the moment when some mass adoption happens, and many, many more people get to sort of understand, explore, and play around with the capabilities of this particular device. Now, we can talk about this much longer, but I want to go more into retail now and luxury. So this can obviously impact and have an impact on a variety of industries. But right now, I want to talk a little bit about luxury. But the first thing I want to mention, which is important, is talk a little bit about three digital paradoxes that the luxury industry is sort of facing. And that will be important when it comes to discussing the potential use cases and solutions in a minute. I hope that you guys can still hear me. I see that the internet connection is a little bit shaky at the moment. Yeah, okay, I think it should be good. Just let me know if there's any issues, and just type in the you type that in the chat. Then I'll wait for a few seconds. But if I don't hear anything, I'll just continue for now. So physical versus digital would be the very first thing. Now, luxury is, just a second, guys, I'm getting some messages that the internet is a little bit unstable. I see that someone is typing. It might be, if one of you could mention if you can hear me and if you can see me, if that's all still good, that would be very helpful. But if you can hear me, then I think we're all good. Video is Axel, sound is okay, video is a bit blurry. Okay, video is lagging. All right, well, if you can hear me, then that's all right. I'll keep the video on for now. If it really starts to bother and also the audio starts to lag, just let me know, and then I'll turn the video off for a little bit to see if that actually improves everything. But if you can still hear me, that's okay. You have a visual of the presentation, so that is important as well. And I hope that it will improve in a few minutes. So I was talking about physical versus digital. So luxury has always been about physical touch, feel, and experience. But the key way to really, connect with consumers nowadays is to also establish a really strong online presence, and sort of balancing that feeling of exclusivity and prestige that is often associated with luxury brands requires quite careful navigation. Now, the second one would be authenticity and brand integrity. So, as I mentioned, luxury brands often emphasized touch, the physical touch and the connection and the experience, and intimately knowing each one of the customers is actually really, really essential, right? Like, they want to provide an extraordinary service, but by growing, kind of going globally, growing the customer base, that intimacy becomes much more difficult to sort of create. Now, there was a really interesting consumer report done by Salesforce, where they, among a variety of industries, where they actually said that 83% of consumers expect to be able to speak to someone almost instantly after reaching out to a company, and 52% expect offers to always be personalized. Now, that was just among a variety of industries, let alone the luxury industry. We can expect those numbers and percentages to be even higher. And if luxury brands fail to do that, they may lose a certain level of desirability. So the funny thing is that in digital solutions, the personalization that you might have and the customization can actually reach new heights, when you combine data with technology and creativity, if you do it very well. So we can talk about that a little more. Now, the third one would be omni-channel integration, and that's been a kind of a hot topic and a fancy buzzword for a long time as well, for luxury, or for just brands and retail in general. But what that means in simple terms is that, among all the touch points, so wherever and however you deliver an experience for your customers, you want to create a coherent and consistent experience among all of those particular channels. And the more global you are, the more global everything becomes. The easier it gets to connect with everyone around the world in a way. Everything can be uploaded with the click of a button. It will be visible globally. But one of the things that have to be sort of managed is also keeping that connection with the local community and the local markets, in a way. So overall, some of the questions that are being asked are: how do I create a really impressive luxury experience online? And that seems like an easy question, but it actually has quite a difficult answer, I would say. One of the things to consider is, do clients really want to purchase these luxury goods without having any physical human interaction? Now, I would say that the answer is yes, but there are some things to consider, definitely. And the third one is, how do we make sure or ensure that we still feel that level of exclusivity and that level of feeling special when we're having that online virtual experience. Okay, now, as you may know, if you've joined the webinar last month that we also did on luxury, you may know that we serve many luxury brands, global, very large luxury brands. And there are some here listed on the screen. And we've actually helped them with some of the challenges that I just outlined for years. And two of the key ways that we're doing that at the moment is using virtual pop-up events, VIC appointments. Now, what that really means for a virtual pop-up event is that when there is an actual temporary event of the opening of a store or the launch of a new product somewhere in a specific city, that usually is a temporary for a few weeks, or a month or so, where they announce something really cool. They can meet with customers or with clients, and our platform basically enables them to also digitize that, so to create a digital twin of that, to also launch that experience online, so people can visit even if they can't be physically there. And the VIC appointments then take that to a new level, a new step, where actually client advisors, so the salespeople, can then connect with customers within the virtual experience, as you can see on the left, right? To actually keep that personal connection, that personalization, to guide them through, to give them specific demonstrations as well. So that really perfectly ties into, how can I create a virtual experience online that is still exclusive, that is still personalized and customized, and where I can still make our clients feel like it's specifically created for them. Now we get to the really interesting part. This may have sounded like a really long introduction. What can we now expect from the Vision Pro, the Apple Vision Pro? Now, in 2024, early 2024, when this gets launched, as I mentioned, because this headset is so expensive, we're not going to go and we're not going to see this in households just yet. But what you may see in luxury is that they are actually offering experiences in stores, directly in stores, where they may have a headset or two. Now, the first thing that comes to mind in stores is product demonstrations. So when you put on that headset, you can have a product demonstration. You can pull, and I'll show you a couple of images in a minute. You can do something really engaging. You can obviously interact. You can pull certain things apart. You can have all kinds of interactions and engagements that are really exciting and really cool to look at. And you can maybe have, for example, an influencer or a celebrity influencer there, actually, as an avatar, introducing or giving that actual demo while wearing the headset. That is a really cool and engaging experience. Now, a next step may be in the store. If, let's say that I am in LA, in a store of Louis Vuitton, and there is an actual pop-up event happening in New York, that person that is in the store in LA can put on that headset and actually experience live, for the period of that actual pop-up event, what is happening in New York, and maybe walk through it and see what is happening there. But a little bit more about that in a minute, when we talk about what may happen a few years down the road. So now, if we're thinking a little bit further ahead, as I mentioned, with technology and with hardware and with products, they become cheaper, they become better, they become small. eventually, for us, for iStaging, something that we believe will happen is this headset eventually will become so small, or whether that's Apple or a different company, that it's just a pair of glasses where you can have all of this technology, where it basically you could wear that all day without even really feeling it. That is where we eventually are going to go, and we're not even that many years away from it. But now, if it would be a more affordable version and you would have this at home, one of the first things that comes to mind would be virtual shopping, right? The ease of navigation that we talked about will make virtual shopping significantly more interesting. You can browse through products significantly faster, and interact with them, and go through videos and deals and promotions a whole lot faster. But what you still are going to want is to turn that into an experience. You don't just want to make that mindless scrolling, because then I don't necessarily need that headset, right? You still want to make that some sort of an experience. Now, we've helped many luxury brands with sort of these pop-up events and these VIC appointments over the years, and we continue to do so. Now, let's take that and imagine what would be possible with the Apple Vision Pro, right? So let's say that I'm at home and I am fully immersed inside a Guerlain or Louis Vuitton virtual store. So full virtual environment while we're wearing that headset. I can walk through that store. I can look at different products. There could be an avatar of the client advisor, or maybe it's not an avatar. Maybe it's just the actual face of the client advisor, or the full body could there be in the store with you. And then when I am actually interested in one of these products, I would basically go back to my physical living room or my physical space. So from the full VR experience, I would go back into the AR experience, take that asset, take that digital product, and put it within my own space, basically within a matter of seconds, where I can then interact with that product at home. Now, what is that interaction? When we say interaction, what does that mean? Now, during the live or the presentation of Apple, they showed a couple of possible options, and here you would see a heart, right? Where if you pinch the heart, it would actually, just simply pinching the heart, it would actually start beating. Or if you would, pinch the heart again, it would separate its structures. Now you can imagine that being the same with any type of luxury product, right? But in my actual space. So I can really seamlessly move from a VR full virtual environment in the store to taking that product out and experiencing that in my own home and playing and interacting with that. And during that entire experience, the client advisor, the salesperson, can be there like right with you, if you want that. Obviously, if you don't, then you may say, okay, I have enough information now, I just want to play around with that in my own space. But essentially, that client advisor, that salesperson, can be there to help you and answer any potential questions that you may have. And I will have here, that's obviously what also part of what the presentation of Apple, actually what they showed in their presentation. And I put a screenshot of our VIC appointment there for you guys to visualize that all of the stuff that I'm just now saying is really close to being realized already. Like the stuff that I'm now referencing is already possible with the actual Apple Vision Pro as it's been presented about a month ago. So that should be doable next year. And that is obviously an extremely engaging experience, and that can be so personalized and so customized. And then we haven't even talked about the combination of the technology with customer data. So lots of customer data to customize, and then machine learning or artificial intelligence. Then that opens up a whole new level of things that you and brands may potentially be able to do. And virtual try-ons, mix and match certain things as well. I mean, honestly, I've only scratched the surface of what potentially could be possible with these devices, in the near future. This is not 15 years away. We are a few years from these things happening, actually, especially with this technology now. And then, when it comes to pop-up events, that also brings to mind potential gatherings, right? I can gather with other clients or with other people around where we can actually meet and see each other. So it is really, really, really exciting. Just recently, our CEO said, actually, when they launched this device, our CEO said, I've been waiting for this day for 10 years, actually 10 years ago, when I met him for the time, he was already talking about this being the future. And it's finally here. So Apple is sort of well, they're obviously not the first with a headset, but this level of technology is very, very close to what we believe is really going to define the future of luxury experiences. And like I said, it can be much more personalized than maybe anything that we've seen up until now. And in some cases, that might seem a bit scary, but honestly, I think it is much, much more exciting. Yeah, so that is kind of, I've been talking for about 25 minutes now, 26 minutes. So I went a little bit over time, but I'd love to hear if you guys have any questions about this. Obviously, I've only talked a little bit about this, but I don't exactly know if you guys are already aware of the Apple Vision Pro, of the headset, if you knew anything about it. So we just wanted to make sure to do a proper introduction of that and kind of still have you visualize what could be done. iStaging solutions very, very soon. Even I think 2024, when that headset launches, we will be able to provide a very, very similar experience to what I've described so far. And another thing that just pops into my head, which would be NFTs. I don't know if I already mentioned that. But anyway, yeah, again, stop it right here, and I'm sure there will be significantly more staging talks with other people that we can discuss lots of stuff with, and as more things become available and we know more about this headset, and probably also competitors and other companies, yeah, we'll continue to work on this. So let me just close this. So are there any questions that I can answer, or any thoughts that you guys may have about that? Okay, about it. Are you guys excited? Are you not? If not, if you have questions, and that's also fine. And if you have questions just generally about platform or software, how we may be able to help you, and probably not, probably not in the luxury industry, in different industries, but we do other talks about that as well. Here, the Apple Vision Pro perfectly iStaging. Absolutely agree. We actually already have engineers looking into it now and trying, yeah, making sure, basically developers. That's exactly what Apple wants, right? That's why they announced it, to basically tell people, run with it and tell us what could be valuable, how you see this being used in the future. So we hope to play a very small part in that in the next few years. If there are no other questions, then I genuinely hope that you enjoyed it, that you got a little bit of knowledge, and maybe the best I could hope for is to get your creativity going, and maybe to ask yourself some questions about what potentially could be possible for your business. I think if that's the case, then I achieved my objective today. I want to thank you very much. If you have any questions or you want to reach out to us, feel free to contact us at hello@istaging.com or via our website, and one of our team members will get back to you. I want to thank you very much for joining me. I understand that your time is very valuable, so the fact that you give me about half an hour of your time, or give us about half an hour of your time, is genuinely appreciated. And I also truly hope that it gave you something in return, some interesting knowledge here. And we will definitely do everything we can to keep going and keep developing and try and build cool applications and valuable applications that can be used by you guys. So thanks a lot, and I hope that the audio and video was okay, that it wasn't too bad. But thanks a lot, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.